Hola amigos, and welcome back to Amor Aventura. We are so excited to have you be part of our journey. We're Zach, Fiorella, and Kiki. 2 years ago, we bought a shuttle bus to convert to the tiny home of our dreams. In 2020, we quit our jobs and hit the road. Follow along as we explore all around the Americas and share all things bus life, the ups, the downs, and all the resources we gain as we chase this dream. We can't wait to see you on the road. What is happening, guys? We are having a beautiful sunny day here in Mexico, and we wanted to share this video with you guys because in the last few weeks, just spending time with family, we've been thinking kind of lots about this.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of bus life conversations with everybody and talking about what it's really like to live in a bus. So today we are going to go over a list of things that nobody tells you about bus life.
If you are thinking you want to do bus life, starting your conversion, or just interested in this world, we hope this gives you a little bit more of a full idea of what it actually is to have a tiny home on wheels. So,
without further ado, let's get into the list.
Let's do it.
So the first thing that we want to cover is pretty much about sleeping. So if you follow any accounts on Instagram, it's pretty glamorized and you're gonna see people sleeping in absolutely epic spots, and you might be thinking that that is just what you get to do every single day, but the reality of it is it's not that every single day. Some days it's just an empty lot. And some days it's just a Walmart parking lot. If you're doing driving days and you're really trying to get somewhere, a lot of the time you're probably just gonna find the easiest option, which is just gonna be a Walmart off the side of the highway. And there kind of is a negative connotation about that, but in reality, we love sleeping at Walmarts. You can get some Wi-Fi, it's very safe, there's always security cameras, and that's just the reality of what usually happens, which takes us into our next point, which is you will find epic spots, but they do take time and practice to figure out what you can get to with your rig, where they are, if they're accessible, if they're worth it. It just takes practice and honestly going to spots that aren't going to work out for you and then finding other ones that will work out for you.
If one thing is for sure is that Kiki finds all the spots glamorous as long as she can go outside. Don't you? So the next big thing people don't tell you about bus life, and it's a very important one, is how much time you actually end up spending in your rig. So this will influence your design. If you're converting right now or thinking about it, think a lot about this point, because a lot of times it's cloudy, it's cold, or you simply don't end up doing a lot of the hikes or things that you think you're gonna do, because usually you don't think about, if you want to go somewhere you have to move the whole bus, and sometimes you just don't want to do that, so you end up spending a lot of time indoors, a lot of time inside of your tiny home on wheels. So make sure you have the space, like a lounge area, the bed area, different spaces where you can move around so that you don't get like cabin fever out of your home, but you will be spending lots of time inside.
So another thing that people don't tell you is you are going to have never-ending projects when living on the road. You think that you're going to finish the conversion, you're going to move in, and it's just going to be all sunshine and rainbows from there on out, but the reality is You're driving a thing that is self-built, and things are going to break, things are going to shift, things are going to get ruined, and you're going to have to fix them. We've had to fix these drawers 5 or 6 different times now. They still need fixed, but the reality is you just got to buckle down and do the projects and get them done, because it's just going to be a reality of this life.
And to add to the never-ending list of projects, I mean, we're talking about a list that it's been going since we started this conversion. We're not done. But to add to that point, I would also say you'll always want to change things about how you build things, about the layout, especially after you start living in it, start moving in the road. You realize some things are not as useful as you thought, or you keep having that idea of that one sliding pantry that you wish you did. So you're always going to want to change stuff, and it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to have to change things if things go wrong, and it's okay to have a never-ending list of projects. So you need to hear that. You need to hear that this life, this bus life is unexpected, it's changing, it's always a list of things to change or to modify or to fix. So none of us have it figured out.
So next on our list is something that people might not touch on or really talk about, which is the composting toilet. Get a lot of questions about the composting toilet, what it's like to have one, what it's like to use one, especially in a relationship. And the reality is you're just gonna have to get comfortable talking about your pee and your poop, and you're realistically gonna have to get comfortable with the idea that sometimes it's gonna touch your hands, it's gonna get on you, it's gonna spill, and there's gonna be times when it's ugly. We did a pretty good job building our toilet. It really doesn't smell for the most part, but accidents do happen, and there are times when I'm emptying it and I do get some pee on my hands, and there's been times when it's been a little bit worse than that. So the reality is, get comfortable with a big bag of poop.
So another bus life reality, another thing about bus life that is not talked about enough, is how goddamn dirty your bus will be. No matter how many times you broom a day, no matter how many times you dust a day, the doors are big, you're coming in and out, so it's always gonna be dirty. There's always gonna be dust around. Like, we broom 2 or 3 times a day, and we take out piles of dirt out of this bus. So get comfortable with the idea of living in a little bit of filth, which sounds horrible to say, but it's pretty much true, bus life. And then know that if you chose or are thinking about using white like we did, that it's almost impossible to keep it bright and shiny all the time. If you did a good job painting, it'll stay so you can wash it. We usually scrub it, but it'll get dirty, so you'll have to be cleaning it constantly.
So another thing, something that we kind of touched on, but a major reality of living tiny on the road, is things are gonna break, burn, get ruined. Just be ready to replace things. Like this light, for example, you're moving things around, we broke that light bulb. We used to have a lot of glassware, much more mason jars and glass plates. We broke a lot of our glass plates and bowls, and we were in the process of replacing those to plastic ones. We've broken a few mason jars. We use a buddy heater, and we burnt the top part of our blanket on our bed. You're living small, and everything is very close to each other, and also on top of that, you're moving, so just expect things to go wrong.
So last but certainly not least is something that I hope you've heard about bus life already. It's kind of talked about, but definitely not enough. And it's the fact that planning, organizing your day, making plans just doesn't exist in this lifestyle. It doesn't exist in the conversion. It doesn't exist when you're on the road. So if you've considered yourself to be a planning freak, I know I used to call myself that, know that you're in for a challenge. Know that you're in for a whole different life where you can try to plan things and you can make your best effort to fulfill them, but you never know what's going to happen. And if something we've learned is that making plans a lot of times creates stress, creates fights, creates arguments, creates just a lot more negative stuff than simply just not planning things, not setting them in stone. You can always obviously have some ideas of things you want to do or accomplish or get to, but I wouldn't get sold out on the idea of achieving them. Just have them in mind and go for them, but also expect that your bus can break down, that you can have a coolant leak, that things can spill, that things can break, that you can love a spot more and want to stay. There's just so many things that affect that planning life that we're used to. So a big thing to know about bus life is that things will not go as planned. Okay guys, so those are 10 things that we could think of that are not told enough about life. Like, they're not shared enough about living in a tiny home on wheels.
It might seem like those things are a little bit negative, but in reality, it's what makes this life so much fun. It's so fun not knowing what's going to happen, even if it's a bad thing or something that seems negative in the moment. We always end up looking back at it, and it's always a lesson that you can learn, or something positive always comes out of it. So that's definitely something to remember. But at the end of the day, the unknown and that kind of thing is just what makes this life so much fun.
Absolutely. I think like this lifestyle kind of forces you to be uncomfortable, to not be able to plan things, to have to maybe touch your pee and poo, to do crazy things. It really tests you every day. It makes you have to ask yourself constantly if this is what you want, if this is what is soothing or going with your soul. And if it is, then it becomes, like Zach is saying, like a fun. You find positive, funny things about all of these experiences. If this is what you want to do, you can learn how to do that, obviously. But we like to shine light on these things, so in case you're considering bus life or are getting ready for it, that you can have a more transparent and real expectation of what it is. I know the first few times that our toilet spilled, we thought we were doing this wrong, that this was not supposed to be so complicated or so hard, because it's always glamorized on social media, and it is absolutely a luxury half of the time, but the other half it's messy.
Yeah, it really is. But we had an amazing time making this video. It was so much fun. We appreciate you guys tuning in and all of the love and the support that you give us. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out a lot. And
if you are living bus life and we missed a point, please make sure to share it so that everyone can talk about it. If you have any questions about any of these points, we're always reading those comments, so just leave them there. There's an awesome community here that will help you answer those questions too, and we're always there for you guys too. So
love it.
Love it. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.